Hey there everyone, Jomar here doing my first BJJ rolling commentary. I'm here rolling with my good buddy Josh. So when I moved here to Vancouver and when I was looking for a gym, Diaz Combat Sports / Stuart Cooper Jiu-Jitsu was one of the first gyms that I had on my sights, and Josh ended up being one of my first training partners during my first week. A great guy to train with. Here we're doing a bit of stand-up, and I know that his stand-up game is pretty tight, so I pull in right away, trying to get right underneath his hips. From here, the name of the game is to elevate his hips and try to get into a leg entanglement. Here you can see me grabbing a hold of his leg and eventually getting into saddle. From saddle, I can see him starting to slip away, so I want to get position and I start to try to get on top. The moment I get up, I want to get into an offensive cycle and start passing. So here you can see me grabbing his ankles, trying to cut an angle, and from here I'm actually going to have to take a page out of Gordon Ryan's 2.0 passing DVD. I'm controlling Josh's ankles and preventing them from connecting to my hips. If they connect to my hips, he can then control my hips and then my posture, my balance, and it can be a really tricky situation. So I'll thrust my hips forward and reconnect my hands to his ankles to control them. But from here, I start to feel him wrestling up, so I have to dive in right for the guillotine, and he does a really good job of popping his head out. I'm gonna have to attack right away, so I go for his legs, and unfortunately you're gonna see here, I accidentally slip and fall onto his knee, hyperextending it, and I feel super bad here. Thankfully his knee was okay, we were able to roll the rest of the round. It's one of those things where it was a freak accident. A few factors came into play there, the slipperiness of it. This was the end of a class. The relatively large surface area of my forehead, which caused the slippage. Thankfully everything was okay. I've been training for more than 11 years now, and this is one of those first times where that kind of happened. You get back into the roll, and actually I'm going to fast forward a bit to a part where there's a bit more action. Here, Josh is doing a great job of cutting an angle on me, and I'm just about able to time him to get right underneath his hips, get a sweep, and get into a leg entanglement. However, I don't want to attack that same leg there, so I opt to stand up. You can see Josh trying to get my back over here with that ankle grip on my far hip, so I have to strip it off. And here I'm trying to get into that passing position, and he times a really good wrestle up right into the single. Here, I should be getting a whizzer and driving his weight forward, but he's then able to control my far hip. I'm able to get the whizzer and still somewhat maintain my balance. But then he goes right for my far leg, getting the double leg takedown. Here I want to avoid chest-to-chest connection, so I go for a John Wayne sweep and then attack his legs right away. There's no leg entanglement, so I go back to guard. What you're going to see me do here is called a hip heist, where I rapidly gain height, and I'm actually going to get above Josh and start to go for a guillotine attack. I learned a lot about hip heisting in Craig Jones's Power Bottom DVD. In this case, I was able to gain height faster than Josh and get a guillotine attack. In the case where Josh builds height faster than me, that would open up a single leg X entry or X guard entry for myself. Josh is doing a great job of fighting my hands, and I can't quite get the guillotine grip that I need, so I'm constantly adjusting to get that optimal grip. Josh is going to end up on his side, and what I'll do is I'll transition to a more uppercut style grip with my right hand. I'll bring his chin to his chest, and I'll drive my hips down to get the tap. We're back to wrestling from here, and I want to show you a concept where I create a pattern and then break the pattern and go for a single. Let's watch that again. I touch his head, and then I change the pace and go for the single, making sure that I go on the opposite side of a choking arm to prevent the guillotine. Purposely creating patterns makes it look like you're being predictable, whether it's your pacing or your movements. Once your opponent is used to your pattern, you can change things up and try to do your main attack. Here, you'll see me doing the Gordon 2.0 passing again, constantly trying to keep Josh's feet off my hips and eventually trying to go for a high step pass. I get the pass and I see Josh is trying to wrestle up again, so I go for his back. As Josh rolls, I do my best to keep my arm and head control on him. Our head instructor here, Stuart Cooper, teaches a lot of head and arm control based attacks, as it's such a powerful control and attacking position. I'm on top now, with almost a mounted triangle in place. I have the arm isolated and try to attack it, but he's able to slip out and get behind me. In the scramble, again I try to build height over Josh, and I somehow just about end up on top. I think the near side underhook helped me out on this one. and maybe a bit of cardio as well. Josh does a great job of recomposing back to his half guard. From here, he times a really nice wrestle up. I try a guillotine, but I didn't have enough control of his head or hips, so he's able to pop out. Here, Josh has a strong grip on my tricep, exposing a potential back take or attack on my arm. We've got a situation where neither of us have much control of the other. I'm able to rotate and get on top of Josh. I'm back in Josh's guard, and he's being really tricky here. He's trying to underhook my leg to set up K-guard, or even maybe another triangle attempt. There was a solid omoplata attempt, but I'm not having any of that. Lo and behold, he had a clean entry into a leg entanglement, but I feel a bit of space, and I'm able to get out. And there we have it. That's what I wanted to cover for this round of Josh. The main takeaway notes being, take a look at Gordon Ryan's 2.0 passing DVD. I've been practicing the moves in it for a few months now, and it's been really accelerating my passing game. Item number 2 here, hip heisting from guard can be a really effective tool to force your opponent to react and create openings for you to attack from. And third, create a pattern, break a pattern. Try setting up a pattern on purpose to lull your opponent into a trap. So I gotta say, huge thanks to Josh for the role, and one of the DCS instructors, Doug, for filming this role as well. Until next time. Remember to like and subscribe. I'll try to make more of these videos. This is pretty fun putting it together, and of course it's always fun rolling. High five!